You ever walk into a room, hold the title, hold the credentials, hold the weight of the responsibility, and still feel like you're invisible? Like, no matter what you've done, no matter how many wins you bring, folks, they're still looking at you like, who does he think he is? Yeah? Let's talk about what it means to lead people who don't respect you, because I know I'm not the only one out there. Don't act like it's only me. Don't act like it's only me. Leadership Real Talk with myself, Patrick Hart. Here's the truth. Some of the hardest people to lead, they're the ones who never respected your leadership in the first place. And I'm not talking about people who disagree with you, because that's healthy. I'm talking about the people who make up their mind about you before you ever even open your mouth. The people who decided that you wasn't worthy, not based off performance, but based on perception. Let me give an example. At one of my earlier executive roles, I walked into a team that had been through, they've been through a lot. Like, the morale was low, turnover was high. Folks, they were just burnt out. In that first meeting, I introduced myself, shared my vision, I asked for input, and you know what I got? I got the blank stares, like the cross arms, the side eyes. Like, the one guy even asked me, so how old are you again? And I was in my 30s. I had military experience, discipline, management experience, and a track record that brought results. But they didn't see that. All they saw was a young black man stepping into authority, and he just couldn't process it. Now, let's be real. I could have snapped. I really could. I could have matched that energy, but I understood the game. This wasn't just about me. This was about having to adjust to a new version of leadership that they wasn't used to. And it didn't stop there. Like, I present a strategic plan, what I get? Silence. Another leader who looked a little bit more familiar to them, they would repeat the same thing. Now it's brilliant. That's what I call silent disrespect. Like, they won't cuss you out, they won't yell at you, but they'll undermine you quietly. And this has happened multiple times. Here's another example. I've had people go to HR just because they didn't like my leadership style. I had people go to HR just because I complimented them that I felt like they looked nice that day. So these are all things you have to pay attention to try to, because people will try to remove you from the office in any kind of way that they can. And if you've experienced this before, you already know. Like, they'll miss meetings that you call, but show up for everyone else. They'll over-explain your decisions to others like you don't have your own mind. They pretend that they didn't hear your instructions until they mess up. Let me pause right here and say this. You're not crazy. You're not imagining it. This is real. It's subtle, it's systematic, and it can eat you alive if you don't name it. Part 2, why respect, it doesn't come easy. You want to know why this happens? Because leadership ain't just about strategy, it's about psychology. Some folks are so used to looking, sounding, and acting a certain way that when you walk in with authenticity, clarity, and presence, they short circuit. Like, it doesn't fit their programming. I've had staff ask if I was filling in for someone. Like, really. I had clients who assumed I wasn't in charge, even after I signed the contracts. I had a department head once pull me aside and say, "You don't seem like an executive." And I said, "Why is that?" He said, "You're too relaxed. You don't intimidate people." Now listen to that. He associated leadership with intimidation, with stiffness, with a certain look. And because I led with calm confidence instead of loud control, he thought that meant I wasn't qualified. Here's the message under all that noise. You don't fit my idea of leadership, so I can't trust your authority. And when you're a woman, when you're young, when you're queer, when you're black or brown or come from a non-traditional background, that disrespect, it gets multiplied. Let me tell you something I had to learn the hard way. You're not responsible for making other people comfortable with your leadership. You are responsible for being clear, competent, and consistent. Part 3, how to lead through disrespect. Here's the part that they don't teach you in leadership school. Let me give you 4 ways to lead when folks don't respect you and still protect your peace. 1, document, document, document. Like, don't get caught slipping. Keep emails, keep notes, summarize verbal conversations in writing. You're not being paranoid, you're being prepared. Disrespect often hides behind interpretation. Paper trails create accountability. 2, pick your battles, but win them loud. Everything ain't worth fighting, but when you draw the line, make it clear. I once had someone cut me off in front of a boardroom. Like, they tried to correct something that I knew I was accurate on. I paused, I let them finish, then calmly said, "Actually, let's walk through the data together so we can all align." Like, I didn't embarrass him, but I didn't shrink either. And I never had to deal with that nonsense again. Number 3, build your circle, not your stage. Respect doesn't always come from loud applause. It comes from quiet alignment. Find the ones who respect your work, your processes, and your person. Like, they don't need to be in the majority, they just need to be in your corner. 4, know when to leave. Seriously. This one is hard, especially when you fought to get there. But if you've done the work, stayed in integrity, and the environment still refuses to respect your leadership, that's not your cue to work harder. That's your cue to move on. Final message. If you've been leading in silence, if you've been holding your head high while your team, your peers, or your higher ups act like you're invisible, let me tell you something right now. You're not crazy. You're not soft. You're not wrong. You're leading in conditions that wasn't built for you and still managing to build something that matters. That's real leadership. And I want you to hear this. You're not the only one. You're not the first one. And you will definitely not be the last one. We're out here in every industry, in every boardroom, in every hallway, proving that leadership, it ain't just about titles or tradition. It's about transformation. So the next time you feel yourself shrinking because of how they treat you, say it with your chest. Don't act like it's only me. If this message hit your spirit, drop that fist in the comments or just type respect. Let me know the moment you realize that you had to lead through resistance and still stay standing. Subscribe if you're done settling. Share this with one leader who needs to hear it. And come back next week. We're going to go deeper because we don't just lead with applause. We lead with impact. Until next time.